Good afternoon, everybody. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Peach and Houston counties until 4:45, which is a weird expiration time. It's very short. Just showing you the sky cam here in Perry at the fairgrounds, where we've already seen a storm go through there and some more about to come through. Let's take you to the radar shot, which is about to pull up on your screen. Hopefully here it is right here. And we will take away the clouds so we can get a better vantage point. Some of this data is trying to load in here. But you can see that storm rolling through Peach County on into Houston. A lot of lightning down that way, and most of the rest of our area, it is all fairly quiet out there. Let's see if we can get the radar to move here. Again, the majority of this is going to be for gusty winds. The potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds. I've seen some small hail in some of that as we zoom in. Now we'll get the clouds taken away. So you can see it's about to cross 75. Already had a couple of thunderstorms crossing I-75, and this is going west to east. But this latest batch of storms is the one that has a little bit more of a thump to it. If you look at the hail size in there, that's not overly impressive. You can see it right outside of Fort Valley here. And if you look up on the scale here, you're talking about pea-size hail at best with this color table. So on the east side of Fort Valley and pulling away, here's 75. There's Buc-ee's right here. So this would be kind of heading in that direction. So let's get in with the big map again. This warning goes, again, it's a brief one. It goes until 4:45, which is only 5 more minutes here. And the movement, again, is to the east at 25 with some gusty winds. Again, the hail not overly impressive. And then other storms around there. If you're anywhere south of that yellow polygon, this is not severe. Any of this down through here, Macon County, any of this that's in Houston, not severe. It's just this one part that is about to cross over. It's marginal at best as far as it being severe. Maybe some gusty winds in there. The one that came through the fairgrounds in Perry a minute ago had some thump to it. There was no warning to that one. So all of these, though, just if you got things going on outside, just duck on inside till they come through, whether or not they're severe. So let's take a look and see about that Perry sky cam. We just had moved it to a different spot on the campus there at the fairgrounds. This is on top of the ticket booth at the west gate. And so this will be our first test of actually being able to use it to look back toward the north and west to see some of these storms. And again, just a little bit ago, we had a storm coming through. It had a little bit of a thump to it. I will chalk this thing on over toward the west. And yeah, first time we've been able to see this. And you can see a shelf cloud coming on in. This is crossing over 75. So, you know, normally up until now, we've been on that Miller Murphy Howard building on this side of it, so we couldn't see that. So that is that cell that is crossing. That's us looking north right there. So that is, let me get into the radar shot. Really slow to load this afternoon. Let's see. All right, so that, there's the fairgrounds right here. So what we're doing there is we're looking at fairgrounds here, looking up at this storm, kind of seeing more of this part as opposed to this part. This is the part that's severe though, so it's a little bit out of our camera shot there. So there's 96. It's pretty much paralleling 96. I mean, there's some rain running down it. Most of the heaviest stuff is on the north side of 96. And about to cross over 75 right there. There's Buc-ee's. So if you're going to be on the interstate, it's not a tornado warning or anything like that. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for some strong gusty winds, maybe upwards of 60 miles per hour. I've seen some little hail in there. Checking on the hail again. Yeah, it's gone up a little bit in intensity. You can see a little bit of yellow there. That gets closer to an inch in diameter. So that has actually blossomed some. So, you know, if you're about to go up and down 75 and you don't want to get any hail dings on the car, you may want to hold up if you're south of 96 or north of Buc-ee's here during that stretch right there. That'll be cruising across 75 in just a second. All right, so let's go back to the big picture. That is the only warning we have. Now, just to show you, we do have other cells out here this afternoon, just parked in different spots. But this is the only part that has had some kind of thump to it, is this cluster coming on in. All right, let's, again, that warning goes technically for just a little over a minute. We'll see what happens from the Weather Service if they continue with that or not. There's that sky cam again at the fairgrounds in Perry. This is not the severe part, but you can see we're underneath the shelf cloud here as I pan around toward the south. Yeah, you can see we're underneath that because as we look on back toward the clock tower, you can tell we're on the outside edge. You can also see that storm in the distance that's just rolled through there with some of those rain bands coming down off behind the clock tower. That was another storm that came through a moment ago. That's going around. So yeah, you can see the dark, ominous clouds, and you can see the rain bands up the interstate up that way. So again, this part that's at the fairgrounds in Perry, though, not severe. It is what's leaving Peach County eventually here, heading more into Houston. Trying to load the radar for you right now. And you can see that there. So there's the latest scan. I put it on just the now thing. You can see where the dark, the purple colors, this is going to be where your heaviest rain is. There's Highway 96 here. Here's I-75. There's Buc-ee's. So again, this is crossing over the interstate in just a second. There's already some heavy rain there, but this would be the part that's going to have the biggest burst of wind, and also where your hail core is near an inch in diameter. All right, so what's happened now is they have replaced that warning with this one, which goes until 5:15. And that now covers Peach and a good chunk of Houston. Now the part that I was just showing you even on the Perry Skycam is also in that severe thunderstorm warning. This goes until 5:15. So this whole wad of thunderstorms right here has a kick to it. Let's go back to the Skycam shot, and you can see the rain about to come through there. The main shelf cloud already coming over. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of rain heading toward the camera in a minute. I'm probably going to go ahead and try to set it up, since we won't be able to see much of anything coming from the west because it'll all just be rain. We'll set it up this way, looking toward the north and west there a little bit, just for a second. Okay, so that new severe thunderstorm warning, as I mentioned, replaces the one that was just in for Peach and Houston until 4:45. That's gone. It was a small polygon, and it also had a very short expiration time. So this is a bigger coverage area, and it's for this whole bowing segment. Notice how it's kind of bowing out through here. Even in Macon County, this is a healthy thunderstorm, but not severe. It's inside this yellow polygon. All right, so that main part, the original part, where the warning was first kicked off, is right here, coming across between Buc-ee's and 96. You can see with the purple. Again, not a tornado warning. We're not looking at tornadic stuff here. This is straight line winds and maybe some hail in there. Let's do a check on the hail core again. Yeah, it's actually ballooned out a lot. So yeah, it's a little decent hail core with this storm. So if you're going to be on 75 in the next minute or two between Buc-ee's and 96, so in this exit here, may want to hold off on that for just a minute. Yeah, so I guess we'd say anywhere from Buc-ee's to Super Sod in that area. It's heading toward Houston County High, Central Georgia Technical College. All right, so it's just going to run parallel to 96. Eventually, if this holds like this, it'll go into Bon Air and those kind of areas. Now, the rest of that storm grouping that is in the severe thunderstorm warning has some hail in it. There's a little bit here heading toward the fairgrounds in a second, and then a little bit back here in Macon County. But that part is not underneath the warning here. So this is the strongest part. And there it is right there. It's blown up a lot right there. So that is a decent hail core. That's a lot of large hail right there. So becoming kind of a dangerous situation if you're just off to the east or to the west of 75 heading east. probably get some good videos and pictures out of this one later. This is going to be Summer Breeze Drive, Hauser's Mill Road, basically in that area, and that kind of Hauser's Mill Road corridor, of course, running parallel to I-75. So again, this is kind of between Buc-ee's and Supersod. So Buc-ee's in 96 exit, moving toward the east. Kind of between Russell Parkway and 96. And you can see some of the places out and ahead of that. So just to give you a pretty straight idea, there's Buc-ee's there. It's kind of running like this. That's going to be the biggest part of this storm, is that main hail core right there, at least an inch in diameter. If you have photos of damage, you can text them to 478-752-1309. Of course, only if it's safe. But if there's as much hail coming down the ground as this is showing, there might be some after the storm moves by you could see on a deck or something, you know, patio furniture. All right, so let's go back to, let's check in on the Perry Skycam. Right now the wind is just blowing. But it's about to pick up. Again, this is after a storm just blew through there just a little bit ago. Let's pan it on around a little bit, and you can kind of see the front edge of that shelf cloud is already kind of clearing over the fairgrounds now. So that's usually the welcoming committee before you get the main rain. It's usually going to be the dark clouds and the wind, and now the rain will start coming on in. So again, that part of the storm, I'm not seeing a ton as far as hail is concerned, but I think some gusty winds. And again, the storm that came through the fairgrounds just a little while ago had some pretty gusty winds, although there was no warning for that storm. But you can see everything kind of coalescing here a little bit. So you're talking about kind of a bowing line. When you see things kind of bow out like that, that's going to mean kind of a punch of strong gusty winds with that. Anywhere from, you know, south of the Warner Robins exit all the way down 75, well past Perry. So this is all crossing over 75 in just a second here. Let's go back to the hail core, see if that's changed or if it has expanded anywhere else. Again, that's a pretty sizable hail core right there. Not just in the coverage area, but also in the diameter. Let's see, let's check in that one green spot in the middle. You're talking over 1.25 inches. So you're over, quarter size hail with this. And this next scan ought to come in a minute. So it's going to be a rough ride. Probably already is. The hail signature is usually a little bit behind coming in with data. So it's probably already either over 75 or about to cross over. And that next scan will probably show it either, like I say, right on the interstate or already coming on across. Again, kind of between Russell Parkway and 96. Like I said, kind of between Buc-ee's and Supersod. So just think in that section of interstate right there. This warning again goes until 5:15. And we can already, that latest signature does show it right over the interstate. It also has it with a little smaller hail. Hopefully that's a sign of something that we'd like to see that weakening. There's that shot again at the fairgrounds in Perry where it's about to get a little bit active through there. All right, so if that signature came in for the hail and it showed that a little bit smaller, let's see if that has changed any in those other storms in the line. Trying to get that one going for you right here. So again, you can see the main hail core there. A little bit smaller hail spots in there with some of these lighter areas in the brown shade. So this is going to be more of like pea-size hail with some of this leaving Peach going into Houston here, leaving Macon County going into Houston. But this part right here on 75, again, that one is the one that had over quarter-size hail just a minute ago. And again, remember the hail data is lagging behind just a little bit, so it's probably already crossed over 75, about to cross 41, kind of that, just a little bit north of the 4196 intersection. But still seeing the potential for near an inch in diameter hail with that. All right, guys, we have a show coming up in a second, so what I'm going to do is I still have not totally suited up for this, so you're going to hear me putting on my earpiece, a little inside baseball here as we get ready for the show so that I can hear our producers. I'll try to keep talking to you while I'm doing that. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning goes until 5:15, and it is Houston and Peach, mainly more Houston County now. And I'll let you look at the radar there. There's other stuff in the area. The Macon area has a thunderstorm. I can hear the lightning or the thunder popping from time to time. But this is the part that we're concerned about the most, is that which has been coming down anywhere between from Warner Robins on down, Perry, and south of Perry, heading into South Houston County. In Macon County, again, that part of the storm, also a little bit of a kick to it, but no warning for that. All right, like I say, we're just trying to get all the wires together here before the show starts. If you do, again, have any damage photos, not while the storm's going on, but if you see anything afterwards, especially with the potential for hail from Peach into Houston, right between that kind of Buc-ee's and Highway 96 area, you might actually have, if you were looking at it like on patio furniture or a deck, possibly some shots of hail that could be as big as quarter, you know, the coin, a quarter in diameter. All right. Just for the production folks, my earpiece is in and ready for a microphone check. Whenever we want to do that, I am ready. Again, that warning goes until 5:15. The possibility is in there for some gusty winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. And again, some of the hail in there that we have seen has been, and when I say quarter, I'm not talking quarter inch, talking quarter in diameter with some of those cells that have been coming across. So gusty winds and then the potential for hail with those storms, and the majority of that, again, as far as the bigger hail, is what was leaving Peach going into Houston. So let's take a look a little bit closer in again, and we can see the storm. Again, the heaviest part is north of Perry there. And there's the look at the hail signature, the latest one. Don't see as much on the southern extent. So this is a good sign that the hail core has come down some. And again, there's that Highway 4196 interchange right through here. So Houston County High School over here. We'll go back to the Skycam at the fairgrounds in Perry. We can see the wind picking up there. Looking in the chat room, all right. Looking at the chat room, just see if I see any damage. I see a tree down in Talbot County. Nothing mentioned for our area right now. So that's that Skycam. Let's go back down to the storms. Waiting for the radar to load here. And again, it's a telltale sign for a severe thunderstorm situation like this when you see a bowing segment, as I call it. It bows out like that. So that's going to be a real strong punch of wind, and it lines up right with that polygon there. So most of the heavy rain has already cleared 75, at least north of Perry. And hopefully that's a sign that that storm on the northern extent is weakening. I don't see as much hail there as I did. Now, it's still going to make a racket with the lightning and thunder coming across, but not as much hail and not as much diameter hail. Other storms, again, there's the stuff going on in South Bibb up here, not severe, but it may be getting your attention. If you are in our northern counties, we've seen a couple of storms, Jasper and Monroe, trying to crank up some new ones. Monroe, we'll be handing this one off to Jones County a little bit. That's not severe. This is the strongest stuff here. And in our southern counties, all is quiet for now, but it could be active for a while as we still have some stuff back toward the west. The good news out of all this is that we could use the rain a ton, so not going to complain about that. And again, we're not looking at tornado weather with this. This is straight line winds and maybe some hail in the mix, but this looks like it has calmed down a little bit from what we were seeing earlier. As far as the hail is concerned anyway. You can see here when the winds were gustiest right here. This is a velocity map. And they're actually starting to punch a little bit again right through here, heading toward Bon Air. So that one section right through here still got a pretty good kick. So still 50 to 60 mile per hour winds with that. All right, so stand by, guys, who are on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. We're about to go on TV now if you want to switch to that. All right, we're kicking you off this afternoon with some good news, bad news. Bad news is we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that we've seen over the past hour. The good news is some rain that we really need out there, so we're not going to complain about that. Here's a look on the Skycam over the fairgrounds in Perry, where I've already seen one thunderstorm come through that was not severe, but man, it had some wind with it and some heavy rain. This storm that's coming through actually is severe, but not showing as much in the way of action on the Skycam. But some of the stuff north of this part, as we go on up through Houston County, has been kicking it a little bit more. Here comes the radar shot as it is trying to load. We've got a lot of data on there trying to pull in. You can see the polygon, a severe thunderstorm warning, which goes until 5:15. As this all moves on off toward the east, we're looking for gusty winds. Notice how there's a bow in this. And when you see a bowing segment like that, that means the wind is really punching through there. Hail core stuff, I've been looking at that recently, and what we're seeing is at least some, a little bit of a decrease in the intensity of the hail, and also a little bit of change in shift of where it was. Some hail, small stuff down here, but this is the main area. Watch when I roll this back, and you can see here that we had right there in the yellow toward green over an inch in diameter with hail. So right between kind of Bucky's and Supersod and at 96 exit, a pretty good hailstorm that came down through there as this was moving over 75 and going forward again. And notice how the colors have come down, but also shifted a little farther south, moving between, say, Central Georgia Tech and Houston Lake now. And then, of course, Perry, a little bit of small hail there, and we saw a little bit in Macon County. So still kicking it. The gusty winds and maybe some hail. This warning technically expires in 13 minutes. We'll see if the National Weather Service continues it for Twiggs, Bleckley, and to Pulaski. Again, because it's mainly this one chunk right here as it makes its way toward the east. We'll see if it relaxes some or if the National Weather Service wants to keep these warnings going. But I'll keep you updated if something comes up. I'll let you know. Lori, welcome to the show.